Still with cricket on the Sports Mag Zone, the debate over the ethical appropriateness of the Mankad dismissal is again raging following an incident in the third and final ODI between England women and India at Lord's on Saturday. With England 9 wickets down and needing 17 runs to win off 39 balls, Charlotte Dean attempted to sneak a run when spinner Deepti Sharma aborted her delivery stride to break the stumps at Dean's end, giving India a 3-0 series win. Now, some prominent ex-cricketers and many fans of the game have been engaging in a vigorous debate over whether Sharma behaved unsportingly in dismissing Dean. Sharma, for her part, addressed the issue in an interview with local media when the India team returned home earlier on Monday. She said, "That was our plan because she was repeatedly doing it and we had warned them too. We had also informed the umpires, but still she was right there, so there wasn't much we could do. We did everything according to the rules and the guidelines." The England captain Heather Knight responded via Twitter. She said, "The game is over. Charlie was dismissed legitimately. India were deserved winners of the match and the series, but no warnings were given. They don't need to be given, so it hasn't made the dismissal any less legitimate. But if they're comfortable with the decision to affect the run-out," she means effect the run-out, "India shouldn't feel the need to justify it by lying about warnings." That's the England captain Heather Knight. Now, the debate comes a week after the ICC published a list of changes to the conditions under which cricket is played. Among the changes is the removal of the Mankad from the category unfair play to the new designation run-out. Joining us to lend his voice to the debate is regional umpire Chris Taylor. Welcome again to the Sports Mag Zone, Chris.
Always a pleasure, George.
Yeah, what is it about the Mankad that stokes feelings to the extent that we've seen since Saturday, Chris, when that third ODI between India and England ended at Lord's?
Well, as I said, for a long time it was slated under unfair play, and many thought that it wasn't a true dismissal, that it went outside of the spirit of the game, that you should be looking to earn your wickets otherwise. But as you said, it's in the law, and it's something that, that teams know that they're to abide by. And yes, it has generally been thought and practiced that, as you said, warnings may be given and players might decide not to run out the opposition. But it's within the law. And the fact of the matter is, a non-striker looking to move down the wicket or to leave their crease before the ball is delivered is unfair in itself, because, as you said, you're gaining an unfair advantage. So, I like the fact that ICC have moved it from unfair play to run out, because that now sends the right impression.
People are saying that the umpires ought to speak about the issue and give clarity to the matter. As a non-cricketing official, I find that ridiculous because the laws are black and white. I don't think the umpires have anything to add to the situation. Do you?
No, the rule has been changed quite a bit, or has been altered in terms of delivery stride. At one stage, it was before you get into your delivery stride, you can execute the run out. It then said that before you complete your delivery stride, you can execute the run out. Now it says before you complete your delivery swing. And it is delivery swing, meaning the arm. So once you execute it before you get to the point of releasing the ball, it is legal. So it allows the entire stride, final step, everything leading up to the release of the ball for you to execute the run out. I think this is, well, before it might have been a bit ambiguous in terms of understanding it. I think this one is the clearest form that it has taken. And as I said, we've seen some prominent moments where this has been used to gain an advantage. So, and as you said, we think about Keema Paul in the Under-19 World Cup. We think about Ravi Ashwin, who has done it a couple of times to Josh Butler, and etc. And now this moment. But as you said, the thing has been that the ICC have said to players right throughout, stay in your crease until the ball is delivered. And as the Indian players have said, they had given warnings. So, but there's nothing in the rules that say that you must give a warning, because it's in the rules of the game. So why not be careful rather than sorry?
Yeah, Chris, when we discussed this last week, a couple of ex-cricketers, I think it's important to point out that there were batsmen, including Wayne Lewis, suggested that it may be a little unfair to say batsmen are trying to cheat, because he feels that there are times when it's just the momentum and the anxiety that they are creeping outside of their crease. So to suggest that they're deliberately trying to cheat may not be fair. But the fact is, if the law requires that you stay in your crease, what I was trying to explain to Wayne is that the effect of it is that you're trying to cheat, even though you may argue that it was just your momentum, and your eagerness to begin the process of taking a run that triggered the movement.
Well, let us look at it outside of cheating. Let us even say I don't necessarily think that batsmen are always trying to cheat, but at the end of the day, it's also about awareness, Lance. And it's the same way that if you are the striker, you're not going to just walk out of your crease without being aware of the fact that the ball is dead, or you would ask a player, look,
that's right,
I'm going to go down to do some gardening or so on. It's the same way as a non-striker. You need to be aware of what is happening. So it gives a wrong impression when you're saying, well, it's not as important. Because when you're at the striker's end, you're very much aware of what is happening, and you don't want to get yourself run out. So as a non-striker, I think what the ICC is saying is be vigilant in the same way. Be aware of what is happening. Because even if your idea is not to cheat, it's still gaining an unfair advantage because you're shortening the 22 yards in which you have to run.
Exactly. That is the point that I'm trying to make. I want to point out as well that if you look at the history of this issue and the ICC rulings that came out last week, somehow when the ICC came out with this a couple of weeks ago about transferring it into the run-out, I thought this issue would have ended. I did not honestly believe, Chris, that the man-cutting issue would come up again, because it's obvious that the non-strikers need to be, you use the word aware, and not leave their crease until the ball is delivered. I'm shocked that this latest incident has caused so much, of a contentious reaction from a lot of people who I think, as players and experts of the game, should leave alone.
And as even Fazir said on a previous show, the fact that it has been nicknamed since 1950 and so on also sends the wrong kind of idea. Because, as you said, there are many other rules in the game that don't have nicknames to go along with it. So why necessarily this one? And I think that all that kind of atmosphere is what creates this thing about it being against the spirit of the game and so on. But as you said, it's a listed rule or a listed law, just like any other law. And it's something that needs to be adhered to. My argument is to the ICC. If it is contentious for them, or they feel that it goes against the spirit of the game or XYZ, then remove it. So obviously, and a lot of the panel who make the decisions for the ICC and so on, the cricket panel, are made up of ex-cricketers. So the fact that it hasn't been removed, it means that they think it's a legitimate way or a legitimate law that needs to be enforced. And that being said, players need to adapt accordingly, in my view.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Thanks for putting your expertise on this issue. We'll talk again soon.
It's a pleasure. Take care.
Yeah, George, at the top of the show, I'd mentioned that I was shocked, and I repeat, about the reaction with this latest match with India and England in the women's match, because I had assumed that with the ICC making it now a run out as opposed to an unfair decision, I just thought this would take the spirit of the game issue out of this Mankad affair and sort things out once and for all, which I said last week. I think the ICC has been a little bit too inconclusive for decades on this issue. If it is against the law, it's against the law, and there shouldn't be any spirit of the game. If a non-striker is creeping out of the crease, well, as I said, Wayne Lewis said, batsmen sometimes are not deliberately trying to cheat. It's just the anxiety and the eagerness to get on. So, all right, fine, I understand that. But the ICC has now made it clear that you should be aware, and you should not hope that a bowler would be in a conciliatory mood with regard to what you're doing. You are breaking the law. And to me, bowlers are very, very kind in doing what we just saw Chris Gayle do, because they have every right to run you out. And it's now a run out.
Yeah. the thing is this. I'm going to go a little bit further than Wayne went, and I'm surprised Wayne didn't go the whole extent, given that he played cricket, and of course I didn't. But when he says that batsmen or batters they leave the crease when the bowler is in the delivery stride or about to hit the delivery stride because of anxiety, I'd go better than that and say it's coaching. Because you can tell me you played cricket at an organized level and you won things in high school playing cricket, so you know what I'm talking about. So I make that point to address the point you raised early about this still being an issue and why people can't get to grips with it. And what I'm saying now perhaps answers that as well. It's about reorientation of the spectators, those who play the game, those who played the game, because I am certain batters are taught that you must put yourself in position to take a sharp single. Isn't that how you're coached? Yes. Yeah. So if you are the sharpest single you can take is when the bowler in stride and you are already on your way to afford the batsman who plays calls, right? Well, sometimes.
Well, depends on where the ball goes.
Right, yeah. Right. So
if the ball goes behind the bat, the
non-striker calls. Right.
Yeah.
But regardless, so you give your colleague and yourself a chance to take that sharp signal. So it's how your coach, it's how you are orientated. Yeah. So I'm going further than it's because of anxiety. It's how you're wired as a batter. You do it without, it's involuntary. It's like blinking. I don't know that I'm blinking now because I'm talking to you, but it's what happens in cricket. You go. So that's the hard wiring, Lance, that needs to be adjusted to this new reality that the people at the ICC have said, gentle people, this is no longer unfair, this is legitimate, this is run out. Yeah. So I think that this is going to help a far way in reorientating, rewiring, and setting people on the right course to accept this as part of the game and cut out the nonsense which we've seen and heard since Saturday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard Mohammad Asif, the ex-Pakistan fast bowler, weigh in. People shouldn't get upset. It's simple. Mohammad Asif is Pakistani.
That's right.
This is an Indian woman. Yeah. End of story.
Yes,
it's obvious why.
Yes, they're enemies, Pakistan and India. Still to come on the Sportsmax Zone, a look at the West Indies versus New Zealand women's ODI series. We'll also preview the Reggae Boys friendly international against Lionel Messi's Argentina on Tuesday evening in New Jersey. And later we weigh in on the scandal that has rocked the NBA's Boston Celtics franchise with suspended head coach Ime Udoka at the center of it. Back with more after this.